I'm just an ordinary guy that loves music, and I happen to be called Jim, and my buddy's called Joe. Oh, oh, yeah. And this game is Jim is moving out, but I'm not. But this game is. So, it's about Jim and Joe. They both love music, and Jim has this obsession that his music has to be very acoustic, has to be perfect, it has to sound perfect, and Joe owns a record store. So Joe's like, you're not moving just to get better music, and Jim's like, yeah, I am. So this starts the game. Pretty much Jim has to get out of the city because he says the acoustics suck. And so you're literally moving your whole room, I guess it's a house, just to get better sound. So it's an interesting setup. It's a puzzler. I would say it's an action puzzler, actually. And they both have silly voice acting. One has like sort of a fake accent, French accent. I think it's Jim, and he loves classical music. And that's the music that gets played in the background, which is very fitting. Sort of soothes the tricky gameplay that goes on. It's not really a game about graphics, it's about the gameplay. It's sort of like basic Super Mario Brothers All-Stars graphics. Like, they're not amazing, but they're not horrible. So you physically move Jim's room across the stage, and like at first it's easy, you just have to move it left and right. Then there's like pitfalls, like holes, you have to slide it down like a square area, and it's tricky to fit it, like to move the room. And you, at the same time, through all this, you have to make sure you don't damage the room or the contents of Jim's room. So it sounds easy, but it's not. So it's amazing, like it shows you the HUD of the damage, and it can go up very quickly. And you know, it's amazing the room doesn't get more damaged. Now on that point, unfortunately, I feel like the damage really soars way too quickly and really makes the game hard. I got a few levels into the game, and then that's when I was just like, I don't know how to solve this next puzzle. So I think that's like the biggest takeaway from this game. Like, yeah, I love the setup, but then the game gets so challenging that like you have to be determined, you have to be a huge puzzle fan to finish it, to continue. And it's quite unforgiving for people that are not patient. And also like $17, I think I've seen on sale. $17 is a bit high for me. I think, especially considering like if you're like me and you only get like 5 levels into the game, it's sort of like, you know, I love the rest and of the game and the setup, but like $17 feels more like a $5-10 game to me, especially if you're into like a puzzler where there is a co-op feature actually, so you can play with someone else. Now that can work both ways. It's like the other puzzle game we played for the Switch, where if you have someone else that's really good at these type of games and like changing shapes, it was the Cutter game that came out as the Switch exclusive game. I forgot what it's called, but you probably, if you're familiar with that system, you'll know which game I'm talking about. Yeah, it's very similar to that. While it's amusing, it's definitely a 7 out of 10 game. I feel like it's an acquired taste. I hadn't even heard of it. I stumbled upon it a while ago, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try this because it's a little bit different from the games I usually play. And yeah, I just it's kind of a shame that it's kind of like a 2D Katamari Damacy, and you just squeeze through areas rather than through collecting objects. And you just have to maintain the structural integrity of Jim's room, but it's tricky because the room gets damaged very quickly, especially if you get frustrated and you're like trying to jam Jim's room through like a really short area. Where I got stuck was trying to get it past an overhang plus the fire hydrant, and I was able to get to that point but after that I couldn't figure out what to do. And I think that would make a lot of people frustrated if they had to deal with that as well. So unfortunately, that's what really curbs the mainstream potential feel for this game. So check it out. I'd say check it out before you buy it. It's a 5 or 10er. I wouldn't pay the full price. I'm glad I didn't pay the full price because it's not horrible. Just, you know, it's a tricky puzzle action game. So I'm gonna go help Jim move, and yeah, keep on gaming.